What is up, beautiful people? Kirby Hasseman here, trying to deliver you just a little bit more marketing joy. And today I am super excited. I get to talk to you about appreciation marketing. So, what is appreciation marketing? Well, we're going to dive into that today. We're going to talk about what it is, why it matters, and maybe some tactics that you can use to take advantage of appreciation marketing to build your brand. And hey, if you're getting any value out of this, please feel free to share this with somebody, subscribe, or rate the podcast as you listen to it. So let's dive in today and talk a little bit about appreciation marketing. And I will tell you, appreciation marketing is not just gimmicks. This is about gratitude that scales. It's about creating relationships with your prospects, with your customers that last for years and years. We always say at Hasseman Marketing, we're trying to create 20-year customers, right? We want somebody who comes back to us year after year. And when they need marketing help, when they need branded merch help, we get to help them because we've created that relationship. And one of the ways that you do that is through appreciation marketing. It helps you create those raving fans that stick. So in the video today, we're going to talk about why and what to do about it. So as I said, appreciation marketing is not just a nice gesture, right? This is a real marketing strategy. So let's dive into the reason why. And one of them is really simple. I think most marketing plans really focus almost exclusively on getting new customers. And of course, getting new customers is really important for growing any business. But I think one of the most ignored segments of your customer population is your current customer base. Studies will tell you that it's easier to get a person who's bought from you before to buy from you again. It's also, the same studies will show that they buy faster. In other words, they make that decision faster because that trust is already built. And then the interesting thing is they also buy more. But we aren't always talking to our current client base or our past client base consistently enough. And we're not doing it with a voice of gratitude. And that's where appreciation marketing comes into it. So it affects your customer sort of directly through that gratitude, but it also impacts loyalty. So in other words, how long they stick with you and how often they order, but then also through referrals. So let's just dive into a few different ways that you can implement appreciation marketing into your business and how it can grow your brand and the impact your business can make. Let's talk about the power of the handwritten note. I know it's old school, but it also still carries a big impact. I think all of us know this. I always say that the greatest distances in the world is the distance between I know and I do. We were all told this when we got into business: is show that gratitude, write those notes. But fewer and fewer of us are doing it. And they stand out in a mailbox that is full of bills. It is full of sales letters. By simply showing gratitude, you can really stand out. In addition, one of the things that we recommend all the time is just creating a quarterly appreciation program. Now, I would say that the best businesses show consistent appreciation for all of their customers, right? But the Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule, does play into effect with most businesses. Most businesses, 80% of their revenue comes from 20% of their customers. So you want to make sure that you are showing appreciation for that top 20%, that 20% that creates the 80% of revenue. So how do you do that? Once a quarter, set a budget and go to town. Go get creative and get in front of those customers once a quarter. Now, we obviously would recommend you doing that through some sort of branded merch, a thank you box, something where you're going and getting in front of them on a fairly consistent basis, where not only are you saying thank you, but you're also creating lasting branding that's going to be right where they make those decisions. So creating that quarterly appreciation program can be an incredibly powerful, incredibly impactful piece of your marketing budget. So consider that quarterly appreciation. In addition, branded merch done right, and this builds upon that last one, it actually feels like a gift. It's the only kind of marketing that you will ever really hear thank you for. You are very rarely going to get that old-fashioned handwritten note thanking you for a Facebook ad. We do Facebook ads. They're very powerful, but it's just different. A radio ad, a billboard, nothing wrong with them, but nobody thanks you for them. Branded merch done right, when it's useful, it's crafted creatively, it really feels like a gift. And so people feel like that they should thank you for your marketing. And that's the power of appreciation marketing. Next up is appreciation for your team. Appreciation for your team creates better marketing, because we all know that happy employees create happy customers. So if you want to create great long-term relationships with your best customers, make sure your team is happy as well, because they're the folks who are kind of day to day, hand to hand with your best customers. Another tactic around this is gratitude as a follow-up tool. So if you are in the opportunity where you get to make a presentation, you've been in a sales pitch, maybe it's a competitive bid situation, making sure that you follow up, whether that's with a handwritten note or a piece of merch, something that shows the gratitude for even being invited to the room, can be a powerful differentiator as well. It's like talking about thanks, but not just when you win. Obviously, you want to thank them when you get the business. But one of the things that I would say is we don't do a good enough job of saying, look, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to get to the plate, because you can't hit anything if you're not at the plate. So make sure that you show gratitude just when you get the opportunity. I find that even, I think sometimes, we don't get the opportunity and we want to cut off relationships, but sometimes that one is just a stepping stone to something bigger. So the way you show grace, the way you show gratitude when you don't get the win, can really separate you as well. Next up is the just because appreciation touch point. So one of the things I'll say to my team on a regular basis is we want to show up when we're not asking for money. Right? I think as entrepreneurs, as salespeople, as business people, we are really good about going when we have something on sale. We have a special that we're running, or hey, we've got an invoice and we're trying to collect. But when you show up just because, when you show up to thank them for their past business, to check on how they're doing, to show them appreciation, that is really almost guerrilla style appreciation marketing, because when you show up when you're not asking for money, you really stand out. And then finally, make sure you turn that appreciation marketing into a referral engine. One of the things I love to do is when you get a great a review, thanking them for that review. You get a 5-star review, you thank them for it, and then try to take it one step further. Take it one step further and reach out to them and say, hey, is there anybody else like you in your organization, in your networking groups? Somebody like you that would appreciate the product or service that we do. And if you make a referral, we'll give you this really cool t-shirt, this branded merch, something that will allow, A, give them something of value, but B, it invites them in to be a part of your team and be a part of your group. And so utilizing branded merch as a way to improve your referral engine can be a really powerful thing. So that is my quick take on appreciation marketing. Appreciation marketing is a truly great marketing strategy where you show up on a consistent basis to build the relationships that will create a long-term business for you. So I hope this has provided you value. And if it has, please feel free to share this with someone who you might know that would need to hear it. And hey, if you need help on this, this is what we do at Hasseman Marketing. So if you want to learn more about us, go to hassemanmarketing.com. There's tools and tricks, and there's all kinds of content and all that sort of thing. And if you're in the marketing side, we've got the target marketing playbook. And then if you're on the HR side, we've got the target hiring playbook. You can check that out for free. I hope this has provided you value. We'll see you next time.